So what's up, everyone? It is your girl, JL Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we got another battle of the going on with the foundation. So I remember when I tried this Givenchy Prism Libre Skin Caring Matte Foundation, that it reminded me of something. It reminds me of the Burberry of this matte glow foundation, luminous matte foundation. So Huda wasn't the first person to come up with a luminous matte foundation. Apparently Burberry was, because this one was out long before her foundation came out. Anyway, the formula of these two was similar to me because I used this one this week, and that's what made me remember that it reminded me of this one. So I figured we could do a battle of the and wear them, and then I can tell y'all if it's the same or not. Because if you all remember, I told you I really love this one, and then mixing it with the other one I have to combine the colors, but because this one is a little too light, so this one is actually a perfect match for me. And so since you can only find this one at the what is it, Nordstrom's rack, I want to find you all an alternative just in case you did like it and it's sold out, because you know, if you like Samantha Bravlon, you like stuff and then it goes out. So let's zoom on in a little bit. I forgot how much this retailed for originally, but since they don't make any more, I figured, you know, it didn't matter. So I'm gonna put Burberry on this side, and then we'll put Givenchy on this side. I already primed my face to save us some time, girl. So I've taken 2 pumps of the Burberry one. I wear the shade, well, I have the shade 120 in this one. Of course, like I told you all, this one doesn't match me perfectly, so technically I don't wear the shade 120. That's just the shade we have here, so that's what we're gonna go with. As you can see, this is lighter than I am, so this is more of like my winter shade of a foundation. So technically I wear it. I usually just only wear it in winter. I'm gonna have to bronze the side of my face probably a little bit harder than I would the other side, just because, you know, it's not gonna match me. Only thing I hate about doing videos like this is I don't have a palette. So it's like when I have 2 different foundations, I'm like, I don't want to rub it on the sponge, because then y'all be like, you know, I'm not technically, I'm technically missing the foundations, I guess. That's what I was trying to say. Anyway, let's get into it. So everybody's interested in that Huda gets credited for having a luminous matte when Burberry did it first. Because y'all just heard me read that, and if it's already a discontinued product, then that means they did it before she did it. So, well, I mean, I heard she's known for like copying off other people. So I'm like, I'm not surprised not to be bogus that happened, since she's copied off other people in the past and been called out for it in the past. Because I've seen like 2 or 3 videos of people called her out for like copying off other people's stuff. I like this luminous matte better than hers, so I feel like the formula is a little bit thinner. The thing about her foundation is if it's not in like a thick formula, I always feel like it's kind of, well, you know, like a very thick consistency, and that's not necessarily something I want. So this is 1 layer of it. Y'all know me, 1 layer ain't gonna be enough, because you can still see all the dark spots on my face. We're gonna go ahead and put 1 more pump of it on and just concentrate it toward that part. The pumps in this one I feel like are less than the pumps in the what someone called the Givenchy, so that's another thing. I feel like this pumps out less product too, so you would have to use more with the Burberry than you would with that, because it pumps out less product. I mean, you have to pump out more Burberry than with the Givenchy, because the Givenchy pumps out less product. That's what I mean. So we're just gonna pat this in and see if it can build up the coverage a little bit more. And then try to get like halfway down on my face. But I was mainly trying to focus it in this part right here, because again, that's where my darkness is for the most part. Because I'm a person who has acne on their cheeks a lot, so take the sponge and try to pat a little bit more as well, and try to blend all over the skin. So I guess I'll take the front part of the sponge to do the Givenchy side, so that way we don't contaminate the formulas of the products. But as you can see, this is making my face lighter than it was when I started off, because it is my winter shade, so just bear that in mind too. I'm hoping I don't look too crazy, because I still got like 3 other eyeshadow looks to do tonight. I'm just gonna do a couple right now, and then I gotta go pick up my Bunnies palette, because it showed up in my house today. It's out for delivery. So this is what we're looking like with just Burberry on our face. Now let's get into Givenchy. And I wear the shade W420, just in case you didn't watch my initial review of this, because I know I did an Ulta haul with, a Sephora haul with this and a whole bunch of other products, that I just went ahead and used those products on my face together. This one, as you can see, matches me better, and it's a little bit thinner in consistency too. Like The Burberry one is still a little bit thicker than this one is, but it's still thinner than the Huda Beauty one, if that makes sense. But we all know Huda be coming up with thick foundations. And see, I'm already getting more foundation with this than I did with the other one. It might be because it's thinner, I feel like it's more, but I definitely feel like I have more product on my face with this one than with the other one. So put that in the bottom. Let's get my other brush now and start putting this on too. It could be thinner too because of the skincare ingredients, because the Burberry one doesn't have skincare ingredients. That's the only huge difference in my opinion. The fact that this one has the perfumey smell and the Burberry one actually doesn't have a perfume smell, which is weird. But since they're both high-end, y'all know high-end stuff usually have to have a perfume smell to it, but this one actually does not. Y'all, I heard Morgan Turner saying she didn't like my Gucci foundation. I was like, what? She said it sits on top of her skin. I don't personally feel like I have that experience, but you know, I'm not gonna doubt her experience with the product. It's just I didn't have that experience. Then again, it could be because she has dry skin, and she was saying herself that it works better for oily skin, and I do have oily skin, so it makes sense of me liking it and her not liking it because of the skin type she has. So I can clearly see the difference on my face right now, y'all. Can't y'all tell that this side is lighter than this side? But I told y'all originally that this side worked better for my skin tone than the other side did. So, but I feel like with this one, I don't need to put on an extra layer because it pumped out more foundation initially than the Burberry one did. So that's why I'm like, I don't feel like I need to, you know, do that. And it's giving, a funny thing is I feel like this side is giving more of a glow than the luminous matte side is, but you know, and more coverage because I can still see dark spots on my face right here. I don't know if it's because the foundation is light, I can still see my dark spots. On this side it's blending better, but again, it's closer to my skin tone, so I'm trying to remember and keep that part in mind while I'm talking about it. Okay, now I'm just gonna take a concealer and put it on. So I want y'all to see other products glide over. Now, I don't think I'm going to actually powder on camera this time. I'm going to come back and like show y'all everything. But I was like, since the concealer's here and we're both here, I'm going to go ahead and do the first layer of concealer on camera. Just so you can see how some products glide across it and blend out on the face. But after that, I'm going to go off camera, finish the rest of my face. I'll come back and do a check with y'all before I leave. But I only got 2 more videos to do after this one. Then I'll be doing check-in real quick, and then I will be going to Indiana to get gas. Then I will go home. I need to do some Instagram content as far as like pictures go. I've actually caught up with just about all my palettes. I want to go get my palette early though, so that way after I drop my son off after we go to the movies, I can go ahead and, you know, come back and film with the bunny palette because I still have to go work tomorrow and I don't want to be behind. So I'm like, we'll see. I'm trying to stay up to date. I know when y'all asked me to do the Glam Light palette versus the Garden of Juvia's palette, so I will be doing that tonight. I have it turned forward, so I'm not using the same. So as I did the foundations, just blending out the concealer. Let's get into the concealer part. I can still see the black underneath my eyes, even though I did an extensive cleanse of the skin prior to like today. But that McGrath primer, black eyeliner is no joke because I still see the black underneath my eye. And I took it off like last night and then proceeded, like I said, to do a pretty intense skincare routine. So I don't, mother did not come to play with that. Excuse me. Okay, let's blend out the concealer for the first go in. Let's flip it over. Go in. Okay, so this is what both sides of the face are looking like. Come in close. Remember, this is the Burberry side. And if you see what I'm talking about, you can see the dark spots right there. And this is the Givenchy side. And I feel like you can only see a tad bit right here, but everywhere else the skin is covered. So as far as coverage goes, I feel like the Givenchy one is doing a better job. But again, I'm trying to remind myself it's because it's closer to my skin tone than the other one is. So I will come back once the face is all done and give y'all an update. I'll probably have my eyeshadow, bronzer, and everything else. I'm going to use the new Jaclyn Hill bronzer because I got in the mail, I think Thursday or Friday. She had a 30% off sale because of her birthday, so I went ahead and bought it. So I will be reviewing that as well. I did application in another video that you'll see. I think it was the Lancome foundation video, so you'll see application of it there, but I'm just going to talk about my thoughts in this video. Okay, so I forgot to come check back in as usual because I always forget to check back in as usual. This is a battle of love. If you're curious what's going on with the eyes, I asked y'all if y'all wanted a battle of love with this, and I went ahead and filmed it already just in case you did. If you didn't, as usual, it will show up anyway. Moving on. So you came here about the face, so let's focus on the face. Okay, so remember, this is the Burberry side. This is the Givenchy side. I actually feel like the Givenchy side looks a little bit more oilier than the Luminous Matte side, as weird as that is, because I just feel like since it's called Luminous Matte, it would look more, but I guess because of the skincare properties, this one is more oily. Because of that, not 100% sure. But I feel like they both wore pretty well. I both feel like they looked about the same. On initial application, though, I must say I did like the way Givenchy looked better than the Burberry. But now that it's been worn in and lived in, to me, they look and feel about the same. This side was just a little bit more oily. My nose was a little bit more oily when it came to this side as well. I know it's hard to tell because I had, you know, both sides done. But I'm thoroughly impressed with both foundations. But obviously, I want to give you an alternative to the Burberry. So the question is, do I feel like the Givenchy is alternative to the Burberry? Yes, I do. It is more liquidy, which means it goes on a little bit more smoother, and it actually gives you more coverage on initial application as opposed to the Burberry side. So I am feeling the Givenchy side a little bit more than the Burberry side. And I think they retailed originally for both for the same price. Don't quote me though, because I bought the Burberry at Nordstrom's Rack, but I just wanted to give you an alternative. So I feel like it's a great alternative. As you can see, my face looks about the same. This side just looks a little bit more glowy because of the skincare properties and the foundation, but they wore the same, they look about the same. I just felt like the Givenchy gave more initial coverage when you first put it on, but it could just be I have more dark spots on the right side of my face than I do on the left side of my face, and that's why I had to apply more. But those are my thoughts. I think they both wore nicely. I put on the same product on both sides. I used different brushes and all this, and nothing got contaminated. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.